Hello and welcome to Blues Place. Today I will be doing the BookTube newbie tag. Now, oftentimes I see this as people's first videos on their BookTube channel and use it as their introduction to the space. That is not the case for me. I have actually already uploaded a few videos, but I wanted to do this early on so that people can refer back to this video if they want to understand me a little bit more as a reader. There are 11 questions total in this tag, and I wrote them all on my iPad, so if you see me looking, that is why. But without further ado, let's just get right on into it. Question 1. Why did you start this channel? I started this channel because I really wanted a space to talk about books and document my journey, and I really love the community aspect that BookTube has and how we all feed off of each other's recommendations and reviews and monthly wrap-ups and TBRs and stuff. It's always a place of new discovery, whether that be through different opinions on books that I've already read or finding new books based off of people's recommendations. It's just such an amazing community to be a part of, and I wanted to contribute in a way that was more substantial than a commenter. Question 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? So I've actually thought a lot about this because I do think that the book space can become kind of repetitive in a sense of the content that people put out and the ideas that we bounce around, because I do want to make content that people like and enjoy watching, and obviously the popular stuff is what people like and enjoy watching, but I also wanted it to be a little bit unique and really speak to me and what I enjoy. So I think that the unique things that I can bring to BookTube is a little bit of that psychological analytical piece, because I was a psychology major in school. I did a lot of research and a lot of analyzing academic articles and that type of thing. I spent a lot of time trying to understand why certain studies were done and all of the stuff that goes into analyzing research. But to bring that piece into books, understanding why authors chose to write books, understanding why they chose to make these unlikable characters unlikable in that sense, or why they chose not to end the book the way that everyone thought they did. I think that sometimes that piece of nuance and analyzing is often missed, and I really enjoy that part. So I kind of want to bring that to my channel. I also love music. Music is a huge passion of mine, and I want to find a way to integrate music discussions and book discussions. I'm working on coming up with ideas to integrate them on my YouTube channel. To sum it up, psychological analysis and music are kind of the things that I'm trying to integrate into this channel to make it a little bit more unique. Question number 3. What are you most excited about for this new channel? I am most excited about learning what type of videos I enjoy making. Like I was saying earlier, I feel like sometimes the book space can become kind of formulaic, and I want to see how I can integrate those things that I think will make my channel unique into videos that I enjoy making and people enjoy watching. I have a few ideas for some like psychological analysis of characters or books, and I'm really excited to do those. They just take a lot of work, so they won't be out for a little while. Coming up with concepts to integrate my passions and finding a way to articulate them in an entertaining way, that's what I'm most excited about for this channel. Question number 4. Why do you love reading? My favorite part about reading is reading an experience on a page that I've experienced in real life and have never been able to articulate fully. When a character is experiencing something and I'm like, yes, I know exactly how that feels, and then the author takes it that next step further and truly explains that feeling and puts it into words, it's cathartic. When that happens, it's unmatched. And I also really enjoy being able to see how other people interact with each other and their different inner dialogues and different perspectives and everything like that. Obviously, psychology major, I just love being inside people's minds, and reading is the best and easiest way to get inside someone's mind. To summarize, reading about experiences that I have felt but couldn't put into words, and then getting into people's heads and being nosy like the psychology major that I am. That answers that question. Question number 5. What book or series got you into reading? I feel like, as with a lot of other people in this space, I read a lot as a kid. I read this fairy series, I read this like Greek goddess series, I read The Mighty Miss Malone, Bud Not Buddy, The Watson's Good at Bringing Ham, and then a bunch of books for school, right? And as soon as the reading got harder and the expectations of what I was supposed to get out of it got more intense and more specific, I stopped liking it. And so for a long time, I put it off and I didn't do it for fun. Then I got into college and I was reading a lot of academic articles and I was like, I need something else to consume that I'm not learning from. And so I turned to books and I started with this book, The Vanishing Half. When I read it, I was blown away by how a story with such depth and nuance and characterization could be told in the span of 400 pages or so, and I immediately became obsessed. Okay, officially at the halfway point. Question number 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? To answer this, I also want to tell you who my favorite booktubers are. I have 3. My favorites are Lexi, aka Newly Nova. I feel like everyone knows her. Eden Yanis and Sean McComb. So I would ask Lexi why she chooses to read these horrible books and then not only read them, but script entire videos about them, film entire videos about them, and then edit entire videos about them. Because before I started making YouTube content, I didn't know how long these processes take. I can understand reading them and giving like a quick review, like, oh my goodness, this sucks so bad. But like, what propels her to like spend like 20 plus hours on a video about it? I'm so curious. I would ask Eden for advice on how she shows up so genuinely in every single piece of content she puts out. That is such a cool skill that she has that I admire so much. So any advice that she could give on that is what I would ask. And for Sean, I would ask why he gravitates towards such sad and complicated books. I feel like the books that he truly enjoys the most that he shares are really sad or really complicated or really dense in emotional labor, either with the character or with the reader. I would really want to know what itch is being scratched by reading those sad and complicated books. Question number 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think there's 2 main things. I think one, finding time to read the amount that having a booktube channel kind of requires you to read while also having a full-time job. That has to be the hardest part. The second thing I think will be a little bit difficult will be continuing to push through the reading, the amount of reading that you kind of have to do when you make book content when going through a book slump or a reading slump. Those are the 2 things that I think will challenge me the most, but they're both things that I think I can easily overcome. Question number 8. When did you start reading? So like I said, used to read as a kid and then stopped for a long time, and then about a year ago, December of 2024, I started reading again and fell in love with it. Question 9. Where do you read? I was a little bit confused by this question, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know if it was asking like where do I read like my physical body or what format do I read? So I'm gonna answer both. I read physically in bed or in my couch. And then what format do I read? Primarily physical books. And then I also have a Kobo, so some ebooks and then audiobook. I really like listening to audiobooks when I'm driving to and from work. Question number 10. What kind of books do you like to read? So I'm still trying to figure out kind of the genres that I really would call my favorites. I know I like Toni Morrison books. I know I like Ali Hazelwood books, and those are 2 drastically different areas. I know I'm really enjoying Red Rising. I really liked Ender's Game. Right now, I want to say sci-fi, but who really knows? And number 11, what does your current book collection look like? Let's just take a little gander. Welcome to my bookshelf. These 3 shelves have most of my like casual reading books. The shelf below has like psych books, it has like APA journal stuff and just psychology things. And then below that, I have vinyls. And then upstairs, I also have some more immediate reads that I want to get to, but this is most of them. On the top shelf, I have just books that I know are going to be loved. I have the Legendborn cycle. If you have not gotten into Legendborn, get into it. Oh my goodness. These are not even all of my copies. I gave my paperbacks of Legendborn and Bloodmark to my mom. And then when I found out Oathbound was only out in hardback on the moment, I was like, let me just start my hardback collection because I know I'm going to pass these down for generations and generations. Oh my goodness. But yeah, up here I have The Mighty Miss Malone, which was my favorite book as a kid. I have more Black authors. I have Children of Blood and Bone, Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, James Kindred, Toni Morrison, who I love, Song of Solomon, Beloved, The Bluest Eye, Love, Jazz. And then I have my grandparents' copies of Song of Solomon and Beloved. And then I also have James Baldwin up here, Kurt Vonnegut. I have F. Scott Fitzgerald. I have East of Eden by John Steinbeck. And then I have more books that were given to me by my grandparents, like The Native Son, The Hobbit, things like that. So that's the first shelf. And then the second shelf is more of like a mishmash of stuff. I have some Book of the Month books. I have Educated and The Underground Railroad, also given to me by my grandparents. Blood over Brighthaven, which I need to get to this fall. I just know I'm gonna like it. And I kind of want to read this before I read Babel because I hear this is like Babel, but Babel is a better version of this. I don't want my perception of this to be tainted almost by the exceptional quality of Babel. And then recommended and gifted to me by my grandma, I have the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo trilogy. I don't really know anything about it, but my grandma liked it, so she gave it to me. Then just random books. So we have 1984, Luster, Six of Crows, A Man Called Ov, Just for the Summer, Vengeful, Vicious. Here are just some books that I put into a video recently. Book of the Month book, Blue Sisters, Beautyland, Salem's Lot, Carrie. And then these are my library books at the moment. Riley Sager's The Only One Left and Intermezzo. I haven't read any Salarini stuff, so I don't know. I'm kind of intimidated by Intermezzo. And then my little Ali Hazelwood collection, Love Theoretically, Bride, Problematic Summer Romance. I've also read Not in Love, but I read that on my Kobo. I love it. I need to buy it so I can annotate it because that book made me cry for no reason. And then The Green Mile, which is the first Stephen King book I ever bought. Still haven't read. I read Misery first, which if you have not read it and are interested in a spoiler-free review, I do have one of those. Misery blew my mind, actually. I can't get into it now. Or else I won't stop talking. I also have The Collector, which is similar to Misery, I hear. Stephen King put references to The Collector in Misery a lot, so I want to read that. And then I have Notes on an Execution, which I hear is really good. I have this sick copy of Crime and Punishment. Like, tell me you're not jealous. Tell me you're not jealous. I found it at a used bookstore, and it's in perfect condition, and fun fact, it has deckled edges, which I know people love and hate. I don't know. But I started it and then I said it's not the time. I also have two copies of Crime and Punishment. I have this one and then I have this one because this one does not move and the other one has like really, really good flop. So like that's the one that I'm going to read and this is the one that I'm going to display. This is for bragging rights. And then I just have a few other books like Killers of the Flower Moon I do want to get to and then watch the movie. Those are my books. I don't have a huge book collection because books are expensive, but it's growing slowly but surely, and I love the books that I do have. And thank you guys for looking at it with me. Well, that is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you're reading something cool and funky, and I will speak to you guys so soon.